Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Sentinels of the Multiverse Hero tutorial series from the Core Enhanced Edition box. This one right here. It looks like this. That's the box we're talking about. We are on hero number 9, which is going to be Tempest. We got one hero to go, and the core box is going to be done. We got plenty of other expansions and everything to deal with, and then, of course, eventually, even the definitive edition and comparing all those heroes. Ooh, this is a major project, a major undertaking, but we're here for you guys if you're here for us. Tempest is a very unique and interesting character. He's from outer space or from not here. I'm not sure. Anyways, let's read his backstory, shall we? All right, there it is. He has two group affiliations: the Marian refugees and the Prime Wardens. He is actually from a star system out of our quadrant. Yeah, he's an interesting character. All right, and we're gonna look at him and talk about what he does. And you can pause this on YouTube later if you want. But yeah, good information there about his background. And let's take a look at his cards now. So Tempest starts with 26 hit points, a little bit light. He's got Squalls. Tempest deals each non-hero target 1 projectile damage. So he does everyone 1 damage. That's the first character we've seen do a lot of damage. Or to do multiple to every non-hero target. That can be, there's 6, 7, 8 targets out. That's 8 damage. That's pretty good for a default base power. Compare that to some heroes that are doing 1 target 2 damage. So if you have 3 or more targets out, this is a better power than anything. All right, the backside you can see here is one hero may use a power. Select the damage type until the start of your next turn. Heroes are immune to that damage type, which is super powerful. And move an ongoing card from a player's trash to their hand. Let's look at some of his variants now. Variant number 1 is the Tempest. Okay. Sacrifice power, destroy one of your cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. Okay. Backside, it says hero may use a power. Hero or player may draw a card. Discard the top card of each deck. Alright, and variant number 3 is the Prime Warden Tempest. 27 hit points, Arc of Power. Play up to 3 cards. Each time you play a card this way, the environment deals Tempest 3 lightning damage. Okay. Backside of this card. One player may draw a card, destroy an ongoing card, and put 1 card from the villain or the environment trash into play. Alright. That is some good artwork on that one. Okay. And we have one more here, which is going to be the Extreme Prime Warden Tempest. 24 hit points. Very light number. I think Hawka's going to start with like 12 more than him. So Thunderstruck. Tempest deals 1 target, 1 lightning damage. If a non-character target dealt damage this way loses any end of turn effects on his card until the start of Tempest's next turn. That's a very powerful card right there. Backside. Till the start of your turn, increase all lightning damage by 2. 1 environment target deals each target 1 lightning damage and destroy up to 2 environment cards. And yep, that's it. So there's all of his different variants and the looks. I like just flipping through these and looking at the different layout of his character. You can kind of see what this is more of a studious one. This is more of an aggressive one. This is more of a default happy one. This is a very sad and upset one. All right, well, let's look at his cards now, shall we? 16 cards in his deck, is that right? 2, 4, 10, 14, 16 cards in his deck. So some 3s and a lot of 2s as well. All right, aquatic correspondence. Aquatic correspondence. One shot, draw 3 cards. Drawing cards, never a bad thing. Drawing 3, that's a pretty good number. And you don't have to discard any, you just keep them all. That's pretty good. 2 copies of that. Ball Lightning, 2 copies of this. One shot, Tempest deals 1 target 4 damage. And destroys up to 2 ongoing cards. You may, so again, his choice. You're not forced to, which is good. So you don't have to destroy your own or another hero's ongoing cards. You may destroy up to 2 ongoing cards. 2 copies of this card. Very good card. Chain Lightning, 3 copies. One shot. Deal 1 target 4 damage. Deal a second target 3 damage. And deal a third target 2 damage. So 4, 3, 2. That's 9 damage. 3 different people. 3 different characters. 3 copies of this card. That's a pretty good card. Cleansing Downpour. It's an ongoing card. Each hero regains 2 hit points. Very good card. It's each hero, so that's if you come with 4 heroes in your group, that's 8 healing. That's pretty good because it's all 4 characters. Or if you're coming in a group of 5, that's 10 healing. That's really good. If you're only coming 3 characters in your party, it's only 6 hit points, not as good. So bring more characters. 2 copies of Cleansing Downpour. Electrical Storm, 3 copies. Ongoing, limited, only 1 copy in play. At the start of your turn, Tempest deals each non-hero target 1 lightning damage. Just 1 damage to everything out there. That's insanely good. Get this card in play. 3 copies of that. Elemental Subwave Inducer. It's a limited equipment card. At the start of your turn, select a damage type. All damage dealt by Tempest this turn is of that type. And then reduce damage to Tempest of that type by 1 until the start of your next turn. So if the villain and his henchmen are doing a lot of fire damage, you can choose fire damage. You would then do fire damage. And then when they do fire damage to you, it's going to be reduced by 1. This is a pretty cool card. Flash Flood. Destroy up to 2 environment cards. This can be, used at the right time. Very key to winning. Great card. 2 environment targets that are maybe were good and now they're not so good. Ongoing cards or whatever. Just get rid of them. Gene-bound Shackles. Its equipment and limited. Increased damage dealt by Tempest to the villain target with the highest hit points by 2. So that's probably more than likely going to be the villain, right? The villain target with the highest hit points. Now there is a chance that the villain target does not have the most hit points, but that's a great card. Gene-bound Shackles. 2 copies of that card. Grievous Hailstorm, 3 copies. Ongoing Tempest, it's a power card. Tempest deals each non-hero target 2 gold damage. So every target out there, 2 damage now? That's pretty good. Wow. 3 copies of this card as well. Alright, Into the Stratosphere. There's 3 copies of this card. It's a one-shot. Select 1 non-indestructible villain card in play. So it can't be an indestructible card. Anything besides that. And it can't be a character card. And put it in top of the villain deck. Tempest deals the villain target with the highest hit points 2 projectile damage, which works well with her... no, that's not it. The one which allows her to do extra damage. This one. Increase damage dealt by Tempest to the villain target with the highest hit points by 2. Then you do this one, which increases damage. Tempest deals each non-hero target 2 cold damage. And then you do this one, which is going to do the villain target with the highest hit points 2 damage, plus the other bonus extra damage. Pretty good combinations going there. Lightning Slash. Tempest deals 1 target 5 damage. Not bad. 1 shot. Pretty good damage. It can do some good stuff for sure. Localized Hurricane. Increased damage dealt to Tempest by 1, so he takes more damage, and he is very kind of squishy. It's got 2 different powers on it. One is to destroy this card. The second power is Tempest deals up to 2 targets 3 projectile damage each, and draw 2 cards. It's a very good card, but to do this, you have to take more damage to keep this card in play. 3 copies. Outerworldly Resilience. Reduce damage dealt to Tempest by 1. It is an ongoing limited, so only 1 copy in play. So reduce damage by 1, increase damage by 1. You have both of these in play, you're just taking normal damage again. If you have this one in play, you're taking less damage as long as you don't have this one in play. So you can kind of fine tune how much healing you're getting and how much damage you're taking. Reclaim from the Deep. 1 shot. Each player may take a card from their trash and put it on top of their hero deck. And then he can draw a card. And you can see he's actually getting the Staff of Ra there. And that is Bunker's helmet. And I'm sure there's some other pieces. I'm not sure exactly what those represent. But yeah, you can see all the different pieces. He's reclaiming them from the deep, and everyone gets to take these and put them from their trash back on top. So if the villain has caused you to lose a bunch of things, you can get it back pretty quickly. There are 3 copies reclaimed from the deep, which is nice. So you can really help his allies get a bunch of stuff back in their hand or back on top of their deck. So it'll go into their hand pretty quickly. Now this card is insane. Oh my god. Shielding Winds. Ongoing limited card. Whenever a hero target would be dealt 5 or more damage from a single source, reduce that damage by 2. Excuse me. I apologize. So I know there's several characters out there. Legacy's one. Trying to think of the other character. It is it Raw? I can't remember the other one. But they have a special ability that allows them to reduce damage when they take 5 or more points of damage from a single source. Tempest can literally do this for everyone with 1 card. Oh my god. So whenever a hero targets would be dealt 5 or more damage from anything, he reduced that damage by 2. Which is pretty good because if he has this card and he also has this card where he takes more damage, then it's going to be reduced by 2. So it's better to take 5 damage and reduce it by 2 than take 4 damage and not reduce it at all. I'm just saying. So that's an insane power that gives every hero that comes in with Tempest this ability. That's crazy. And last but not least, Vicious Cyclone, ongoing limited. Play this card next to a target. At the start of your turn, discard up to 3 cards. Tempest deals that target 1 projectile damage for each card discarded this way. If the target leaves play, destroy this card. This is a terrible card. Do not play this card. Do not waste 3 cards to do 1 point of damage each. You have cards that do each card. This card alone does 9 damage, and you're going to discard 1 card for 1 damage? That's not good use of your cards at all. Never play this card. It's a terrible card. Terrible, terrible, terrible card. If it was like 2 or 3 for every card you discard, maybe. But again, you better off using those cards to do the damage. I mean, I just can't see any reason why to ever play this card. It's just, in my opinion, not very good. All right, so let's talk about my feelings about Tempest. What do I think about Tempest? I don't play Tempest that often, to be honest. I've played him, a few times here and there. He's not one of my favorite characters, but he is very solid. He does do pretty good amount of damage. The reason I don't play him is he is kind of squashy. He's only 26 hit points. Before you know it, it seems like he runs out of hit points pretty quickly. He has a couple cards to get some healing back, but it's just 2 hit points, but it's for everyone. So he's taking a little bit of damage. Here he can, he's causing more damage to himself. At least with this card, he can prevent some damage. Instead of taking 3, he might only take 2. And then, of course, with this card, if he's taking 5 damage, he'll only take 4. I mean, that's damage reduction is great. We all know that. It is one of the best. Being able to help all your allies, he does a great job with Reclaim from the Deep, 3 copies of that. He has the Cleansing Downpour, which helps all of his allies. He's a great character to take in with any group. He does a lot of pretty solid damage. He doesn't hurt other characters. He helps you and heals you and lets you draw, regain hit points and put cards back from your trash back on top of your deck. So he's a very good. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He's not a support character. He's kind of a combination, a support damage dealer. He does Chain Lightning does a bunch of damage. There's 3 targets out there. That's a lot of damage he's doing. He's got the Ball Lightning, which does a pretty good amount of damage to destroy ongoing targets. He's got Electrical Storm, which also do damage every round. He does do a pretty good amount of damage, and he has a little bit of helping his allies. He's a good person to bring in a solid group. I would say he's a nice high B level character. I wouldn't say he's over the top crazy. He's never going to do like 20 points of damage in a round or something, but he's got a couple bad cards, not very many. There's only 2 of these in his deck, which is kind of a dead card. I would never play this card, and a lot of times I wouldn't play this card. It just doesn't seem like those cards, taking the extra damage isn't worth that power, because he's got a pretty decent power to begin with, and he's got a bunch of one-shots that do more damage than this power does. This does 2 targets, 3 projectile damage, and drawing 2 cards. This does 7. That does 9 damage. So 6 versus 9. So this card does more damage, but it doesn't give him any card draw. So, destroying environment cards. I haven't even really talked about that, but that is super solid. So he does a little bit of support. He does a little bit of attacking. A little bit of, he is a little squishy, so you gotta mind how much damage he's taking. But he can produce and do a pretty good job. He's a solid character. Definitely take him in a group. Don't feel ashamed. He's a fun character to play. He does a really good job of damage. And then again, when you're damaging people, you got 3 or 4 different powers that are damaging every single character out there, every single enemy, villain target, and environment target. If you got a bunch of enemies out there, Tempest is just boom, 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 picking them off left and right. This is a much better power deals non-hero targets 2 cold damage. This one here is better than this one, and you're not caused to draw or take more damage. So I think this one's kind of a dead card. I wouldn't play this one, and I don't like this card at all either. Maybe there's some niche situations where these might come into play. So he's got a few dead cards in his hand. This one's kind of an interesting one, which can make him a little bit more tanky. by seeing what damage is coming from the enemies and adjust to it. So getting this one into play is a good one. The chain lightning is solid. Electrical storm, very good. Yeah, he's a very solid, very helpful character, one to include, and one that your other allies will be happy to see. Oh, Tempest is here. Nice. We'll be able to get some of our cards back. We'll get a little bit of healing, and he'll be able to take out some of those pesky ongoing cards. So I don't need to do it, which means I can do, I can do other things. So very solid character, very nice, very easy to learn, very easy to play. Solid character. Thanks so much for watching. We got one left in the core box, and then that'll be it. And so we're going to try and get that done here shortly tonight, and then we'll be done with the heroes in the core box and be able to move on. It's been a wild and energetic ride. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this so far, and be sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff if you are new around here. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments about any one of the heroes that I've talked about. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves, have a good night, and we'll see you all down the line. Take care, everybody.